you can have at it, man.
All right.
Boom, there you go.
So y'all get to watch this thing again.
Oh, let me hit play.
Oh yeah, that would help. So at the top of the month, Paul and Shamali and Broody Gambit and I tried to play Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the video game, because it was re-released, and we were very excited about it. We had to do some learning and growing, and one of those things that we learned was don't buy third-party games on Switch with the intention of multi-streaming them. It's going to be a disaster.
The sentence could have ended with "Don't buy third-party multiplayer games on Switch."
Yes, that is very true. We kind of
know if I was going to play this game by myself and or only like local multiplayer,
yeah.
I'd be totally happy with it on
Is
the
that
Switch.
what it is?
It absolutely the controls work decidedly better on Switch than they do on
You get the Parsec dongle that lets you play consoles with Parsec. That's like what everyone needs in this group. Anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we picked up Scott Pilgrim versus the World. We most of us bought it twice because what is it? Limited Run Games, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Limited Run Games did a physical
about
copy
that.
release.
We haven't gotten those yet.
We haven't gotten those yet.
Are you serious?
Well, they said a couple of months. They said I think May is their target. Yeah. So it'll be a little while before we get those. But we were like, oh, great, cool, physical Switch cartridge. That makes the most amount of sense. That way, if they ever take it away from us, we can continue to play it.
Yeah.
But we then had to go back and also download it again because we wanted to stream it. We got everybody together in the room. We canceled Samurai Saturday, although we forced Paul to play as Knives because it was about the closest we could get to a samurai. And we all jumped in the room together. We loaded up the game, and Broody couldn't connect. And then we loaded up the game in such a way that he could connect, and Paul couldn't connect. And we fought connection issues for a considerable amount of time before we finally got
40 minutes probably.
Yeah, it was a good 40 minutes at least. And then we finally got everybody together, and we got through the first level, I guess, and pretty much no problems there. Then we got to the second level, and poop hit the fan again. So much so that Paul had to I think Paul's instance was hosting, and the rest of us all went into a shop. Or no, he went into a shop. You can explain it better than I can.
Okay, so this is what happened. There's a shop in the instance, right?
Yes.
I go into the shop, no one's in there. But everyone's like, we're in the shop. And I'm like, I don't see you. I go out of the shop, everyone's outside the shop. So I'm like, hey guys, you're not in the shop. And they're like, yeah, we are. I was like, okay, but I can see you moving around my screen. So let me guide you into the shop. So I guide them from my screen into the shop. Like I had to tell each individual person, like, move down 2 spaces, move to the right, a couple spaces, whatever.
Yeah.
To make it into the shop. Once we got the whole crew, all 3 of the other people in the shop, I walked into the shop and they were all in the shop. And we were all able to
for probably another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And we beat that level, and then it stopped working again.
That's so terrible.
And at some point, the rest of us got almost all the way through the 3rd level, and Paul was just derping around somewhere. He had no idea what was going on.
Yep.
So I took it upon myself to play most of the rest of the game on my own afterward. So much so that I actually burnt myself out on it, which is why we were talking about burnout last week. And I haven't actually finished it. I want to, and I will. But I really want to play it with some local multiplayer people before I go through the final boss.
Where this game shines for sure.
It really is better with multiple players and not just. I mean, I'm playing as Kim because Kim's the best, but I want to see Scott get into some combat. I want to see Steven Stills get into some combat, like Wallace. Anybody would be more fun. So yeah, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game was developed by Ubisoft. It was re-released January 14th of this year. I don't know what the original release date was, but I'm sure I can find out very quickly. So I played it on Switch as well as a little bit on PC. I borrowed someone's laptop. I don't remember who. Way back when it was first released. So maybe it wasn't PC, maybe it was Xbox 360, but I don't know. August 10th of 2010. So it was a full more than 10 years later. that it was re-released. It's not super duper expensive. You can get it, I think, on you can get it on all 4 major platforms: Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. I don't remember how much we've paid for it. The information
I think it's
that I've
$15.
got, yeah, I think it was $15.
Yeah.
And then the limited run game was a little bit more expensive. It was like 30
Yeah,
or something like that, because
they're
physical
freaking
cartridge.
Yeah.
I love the art of this game.
Mhm.
It is so cute, and every character is all their actions are entirely different. There was a great bit where Paul and I accidentally discovered what we thought was a taunt feature. Turns out it's actually a special move that is usually centered around healing. So at one point, Kim's heal is to make out with knives, and Paul was playing as Knives and I was playing as Kim, and I was like, Paul, why is my character suddenly making out with yours? Like, this is really weird. Turns out it's a heal.
I had no idea.
We had no idea, because we were struggling so much with the capture. We were just like, okay, this is just this random thing that Kim can just randomly make out with knives whenever she wants. Cool.
Strange.
So the art is tremendous. The level design is really cool. There's some really cool mechanics. A lot of things that don't get featured in the movie come to life in the game. And you get to fight the giant robot from the comic book that doesn't even appear at all in the movie. It's definitely, the story is still told from Scott's perspective, even though you're playing as not Scott. So that's a little strange, but all the characters have roles to play, even in the short cutscenes between levels. So when Scott and Ramona are hugging or cuddling or whatever they're doing, you can see Kim being like, bleh, and just kind of making fun of him. You can see Steven rolling his eyes. You can see Julie tapping her foot. It's really, really adorable. And the combat system is really like solid. It's not it's not like Jay and Silent Bob. It's so close to River City Ransom.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's way tighter than Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl, which was the last brawler that I reviewed. Like I said, the art is so cool. The music is all done by Anamanaguchi, which is a band that I've seen once or twice, and they're really talented musicians. It doesn't seem exactly like what I would expect from them, but at the same time, it totally does. It's a chiptune soundtrack, which you would expect from a 8-bit
Like
brawler style game. Yeah. And the music is really catchy, but doesn't get stuck in your head. So we've talked about that before. That's a really, really nice feature of a game. If you're really, really digging it and enjoying it in the moment, but the minute you put it down, you're like, okay, it's not an earworm. It's not stuck in my head. Mm-hmm. The sound design is, again, just like any 8-bit brawler, you hit someone with something, it goes, and it feels like you've hit someone with something. How long did
you can do that too? You can hit people with other people.
Yes, you can. Oh, that was a great bit where Paul just randomly picked up my corpse and started beating people down with it.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, put me down.
Yeah.
I'm not helping in this way. And of course, Paul got really into it and started yelling karate, and it was great. The game did not take me all that long. I got through most of the game up to the point where I stopped and just realized that I wanted to play it multiplayer in an afternoon. It is not a long game, and it's not hard. Especially like once you figure out how a boss works, you're just like, oh, okay, I can do this. This is fine. It's appropriately difficult, I guess is the right way to say it. It makes sense. Would I play a sequel? I mean, okay, who am I kidding? Yes. But I don't think narratively there ever needs to be. It tells the entire story of the Scott Pilgrim comic books, all 6 volumes. And it does a really, really good job of that. You don't feel like you're missing too many of the story beats, although there's like the whole Lisa subplot that gets left out, but that's fine. Overall rating, like 8.7, I would say.
That's
not quite a 9. But
think that's
like it's
totally
really solid.
fair.
It's really, really good. And for $15, that's kind of the zone I'm looking to kind of the zone I expect my games to be in.
Especially if you're like looking for like a really fun nostalgia trip, like
Yeah.
brawler. Like, you know, this brings me back to the days when I'd hang out in my friend's basement and we'd play, you know, Turtles in Time, you know.
Yes, exactly.
So like it's definitely kind of in that style of those old school brawlers, and it's fun and it's really well executed. The local co-op is fan freaking tastic. I just wouldn't ever advise doing network
Do not play
play
a network
on a
play.
Switch.
Get it on Steam. Play over Parsec or Steam Remote Play.
Yeah, because I hear
That's
the
the
net
right way to
code
do it.
for the game is really bad anyway. So like
Yes.
even on PC with a good network connection, like a wired connection, a lot of people still have some of these problems. So the best way to do it, if you're gonna do it online with your friends, is to use something like Parsec and just use one instance of the game.
And I think that is definitely what I would recommend doing. And I think Chad is mentioning the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge coming out either later this year or early next year.
Super excited
I'm
for
sure we are going to simul stream that, but we're going to learn our lesson and we're going to play over Parsec.
Well, that one will probably have some decent network play, but we should probably do it on PC.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, even if, I mean, just to save our own lives, like we just play over Parsec because we know it'll work.
Yeah, fair.
And it's definitely. So is Scott Pilgrim worth buying at a $15 price tag? Yes, definitely, absolutely. But consider how you're going to play it. If you're going to play it, you know, couch co-op, definitely get it on Switch, because I'm going to be honest, playing it with, you know, a Super Nintendo style controller is rad. That's how I played the whole game, and I was like, this is so perfect.
I wouldn't even mind playing this with a Joy-Con. Like if my friend handed me the Joy-Con, I wouldn't even mind, because it's not like the controls are super complicated. You know, you can play with the little, you know, crappy Joy-Con sideways deal.
Yeah.
You know, and
I hate having to do that though.
I hate having to do that too, but it's totally a game you could do it. Like if you have a couple friends over, you're having a couple beers and you want to just play some video games, you know, like
this is the way to do it. Yeah,
that's a fine way to do it, you know. So
I brought it to my sister's house, and my niece and I were playing, and I had the 8-bit and she had a Joy-Con, and I was like, I'm digging this. This is exactly what my hands want to be doing in this kind of a game. And she was like, yeah, this Joy-Con works fine. So it is totally, if you're going to play it couch co-op, get it on the Switch. Definitely, absolutely. If you're planning on playing it remotely with a friend from another state, do yourself a favor, get it on PC and play over Parsec.
Exactly.
But, yeah, Scott Pilgrim, really, really fun, very well executed. I'm so glad it's back, because I missed it the first time. I got to play like a few minutes of it when it first came out, and then
I only played it once at my brother's house. Just like once.
So it was, which actually segues us right into our main topic for the day.
Let's switch back over.